It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when everything in his life seemed to collapse at once. He sat on the curb, soaked through, shivering, and watching people pass by without so much as a glance. Each person who walked past carried their own busy lives, umbrellas shielding them from the rain, their faces set in a hurry. And yet, not one of them stopped. Not one of them noticed. Not one of them cared. The man felt invisible, like he didn't even exist. His old coat was torn, his shoes soaked, and his wallet empty. He had nowhere to go, no one to turn to, and the weight of every disappointment in his life pressed down on his shoulders. In that moment, he wondered if anyone in the world could still be kind, or if he had been abandoned forever. Before we dive deeper into this story, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Here at Kindness Story Hub, we share stories that remind us all that kindness can come when we least expect it, and sometimes, it changes everything. His name was Mark, a man in his late 40s, who had once lived a normal, happy life. He had a steady job, a small house in a quiet neighborhood, and a family who loved him. But life, unpredictable and unrelenting, had other plans. A sudden job loss, medical bills that piled up, and a string of unfortunate events led him to the streets. Over time, people stopped calling, neighbors stopped noticing, and even old friends seemed to vanish. He had become, in his own eyes, someone the world had given up on. Days blurred into nights. Nights blurred into despair. Mark would wander the city streets, searching for food, warmth, and sometimes, even just a moment of human connection. The sounds of laughter from nearby cafes, the sight of families walking together, reminded him of everything he had lost. And still, no one offered help. A coin tossed here or there, a cold nod from a stranger, it was never enough to ease the loneliness that had wrapped around him like a heavy blanket. One evening, as the sky turned a bruised purple and the rain returned in a steady drizzle, Mark huddled beneath the entrance of an old closed-down store. He had almost given up hope that anything could change his life, that anyone could even see him. His hands shook, not from the cold, but from the sheer exhaustion of trying to survive day after day. His stomach growled, reminding him that he hadn't eaten in hours, maybe even a whole day, and then, something unexpected happened. A woman appeared at the end of the street. She carried a bright red umbrella and walked with a sense of purpose, yet her eyes were warm, scanning the area as if she were searching for something or someone. When she spotted Mark, she didn't look away, didn't walk past like everyone else. Instead, she approached slowly, kneeling down so that she was at eye level. "Are you okay?" she asked gently, her voice calm and comforting. Mark blinked, unsure if he had imagined the sound of a human voice that seemed genuinely caring. He wanted to shake his head, to say that he was fine, that he didn't need help. But something in her eyes told him that she truly saw him, not the mistakes, not the failures, not the life he had lost, but him. "My name's Sarah," she continued. "I can see you're struggling. Can I help you?" Mark's throat tightened. He wanted to respond, but no words came. Years of neglect and rejection had built a wall around him. But this one person, this stranger with a kind heart, was reaching out, and slowly, he felt a flicker of something he hadn't felt in a long time, hope. Sarah didn't just offer a few kind words and leave. She took him to a nearby diner, ordered him a warm meal, and sat across from him, listening as he shared pieces of his story. He spoke of the job he loved and lost, the bills he couldn't pay, and the loneliness that had consumed him. She didn't interrupt, didn't judge, she just listened, offering understanding and empathy, the kind that doesn't come easily to those who have been hurt by the world. Over the next few weeks, Sarah became a steady presence in Mark's life. She helped him find temporary shelter, connected him with local resources, and even helped him polish his resume for job applications. But more importantly, she reminded him that he wasn't invisible. That someone cared. That kindness wasn't just a word, it could be a lifeline. One cold morning, after weeks of support, Mark finally landed a job at a small warehouse. It wasn't glamorous, but it was enough to give him dignity and stability. He rented a small room in his shared apartment and slowly began rebuilding his life, one day at a time. He would never forget the woman who had stopped for him in the rain, the woman who had reminded him that even in the darkest moments, light can find its way in, but the story doesn't end there. Mark realized that kindness isn't just something to receive, it's something to give. He started volunteering at local shelters, helping those who had once been in his position. He offered warm meals, friendly conversations, and a listening ear to people who felt invisible. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, reminded him of what Sarah had done for him and inspired him to pay it forward. One afternoon, while volunteering at a community center, he met a young man named Jason. Jason reminded Mark of himself not too long ago, lost, desperate, and feeling forgotten. Mark sat with him, listened, and offered guidance, just like Sarah had done. And when Jason smiled for the first time in weeks, Mark felt a warmth in his heart, the same warmth he had felt when kindness had reached him. Mark's life transformed not because someone gave him everything he needed, but because someone believed in the power of human kindness and didn't turn away. Sarah's compassion had created a ripple, touching not only his life but the lives of many others through him. Over time, Mark even started a small program at his local community center called Kindness in Action, where volunteers could connect with people in need, offer support, and help them regain hope. He shared his story, hoping it would inspire others to understand that no act of kindness is too small, that even one person caring can change everything for someone else. Mark often thinks back to that rainy day when the world seemed to have forgotten him. He remembers the feeling of despair, the sharp sting of loneliness, and the hopelessness that threatened to swallow him whole. And then he remembers Sarah, kneeling in the rain, holding out a hand, and saying, "I can help you." That simple gesture, that small act of humanity, had shifted the course of his entire life, and that's the message he carries with him every day: kindness matters. It costs nothing, yet it can be everything to someone in need. It can turn despair into hope, loneliness into companionship, and darkness into light. Every time Mark reaches out to help someone else, he remembers the one person who refused to walk past him, and he feels the power of kindness ripple through the world once more. So, what can we learn from Mark's story? Sometimes, the people around us are struggling quietly, their pain invisible beneath the surface. A smile, a listening ear, a helping hand, these things might seem small to us, but to someone else, they can be life-changing. And the beautiful part? Kindness has a way of coming full circle. The compassion we give freely often finds its way back to us in ways we never expect. In the end, no one is truly alone. One person's choice to care, to pause, to reach out, can create a chain reaction of hope, healing, and love. Mark's journey reminds us that even when the world seems cold and indifferent, there is always the possibility that someone will extend a hand, that someone will see us, that someone will remind us that kindness exists. And once it touches us, we too can become the change someone else has been waiting for. So, the next time you see someone struggling, remember Mark's story. Remember Sarah's courage to stop in the rain. Remember that the smallest gesture of kindness can be the spark that changes someone's life forever. Because sometimes, it only takes one person to make everything different. Kindness is more than a word, it's action. It's noticing when someone is hurting, it's pausing when we usually walk past, and it's offering help even when it's inconvenient. The world can feel heavy and unkind at times, but the power of one person's compassion can create a ripple that spreads far beyond what we can imagine. If Mark's story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. And subscribe to Kindness Story Hub for more heartwarming stories that remind us all to care a little more, love a little more, and never underestimate the power of kindness, because at the end of the day, kindness is the one thing that can truly change everything.